Hi, and welcome to Tuesday's Tales. We're so glad that you're with us today. Today's story is Miss Nelson Has a Field Day by Harry Allard and James Marshall. Let's get started. I love this book. There are lots of Miss Nelson books featuring the one and only Viola Swamp. Dun dun dun. All right, here we go. For some weeks now, gloom had blanketed over the Horace B. Smedley School. No one laughed or threw spitballs. No one even smiled. Miss Nelson was worried. Everyone was down in the dumps. Even the cafeteria ladies had lost their sparkle. Mr. Blansworth was so depressed he had hid under his desk. "It's the worst team in the whole state," he said. And it was true. The Smedley Tornadoes were just pitiful. They hadn't won a game all year. Dude, this guy's so pitiful, he doesn't even know how to turn the right way. He's having a problem. They hadn't even scored a single point. And lately, they seemed only interested in horsing around and in giving Coach the business. "Why practice?" they said. "We'll only lose anyways." "We're in for it now," said old Pop Hansen, the janitor. "The big Thanksgiving game is coming up. And the werewolves from Central are real animals. They'll make mincemeat out of our team." "What's to be done?" said Miss Nelson. "We need a real expert," said Pop. That afternoon, while Miss Nelson was grading papers, she heard wild laughter. It was coming from the teacher's lounge. I don't know. Do crazy things happen in the teacher's lounge? Apparently so. Coach Armstrong had cracked up. That means he went, "Woohoo!" "I'll make us a fresh pot of coffee," said Miss Nelson. When Coach had calmed down, Miss Nelson took him home in a taxi. "You need a nice long rest," she said. The next day, it was announced over the PA that Coach Armstrong would be out for a long time with the measles. "Who will take his place?" said the kids. That boy's having a hard time. Look at him. Oh my goodness. When Miss Nelson passed by Lulu's after school, a serious discussion was going on. "We need someone who can really get the team into shape for the big Thanksgiving game," said one kid. "Someone who knows how to get results." "It's too bad Miss Viola Swamp isn't around," said another. "Who?" said a kid who was new in town. "You've never heard of Viola Swamp?" said the first kid. "She's a real witch, the meanest substitute in the whole wide world. She'd have no trouble getting results." Mr. Blansworth happened to overhear. He said. Said Miss Nelson, and she wasted no time getting home. After rummaging around in her closet, she found what she was looking for, an ugly black sweatsuit. Then she made an important phone call. "I'll be right over," said the voice at the other end. The next day, Mr. Blansworth announced that there would be football practice as usual. "Whoever it is," said the guys, "let's really give him the business." The doors to Coach's office flew open, and out stepped a lady in an ugly black dress. "My name is Viola Swamp," said the lady, "and I'm here to get results." "It's Bladsworth!" cried the guys, and they left him off the field. "Oh, rats," said Bladsworth. "How can they tell?" Just then the guys heard the sound of squeaky tennis shoes. "I am Coach Swamp," said the lady in the black sweatsuit. "Holy smoke!" cried the team. "The Swamp!" The team's fullback tried to pussyfoot away. "Not so fast, Mr. Smarty," said Coach Swamp. "Wow," said one of the guys. "Did you see that tackle?" Coach Swamp was a real expert. She put the team to work right away. The guys had never done so many leg raises. "More," said Coach Swamp. They had never run so fast. "Faster," yelled Coach Swamp. "This is murder," said the guys. "Pipe down," said Coach Swamp. In only a matter of days, the Smedley Tornadoes were looking better. Coach Swamp really gave them the business. Well, at least they're all facing the camera the right way this time. Mr. Bladsworth was a little puzzled, however. "Who is that Miss Swamp?" he said. "Maybe Miss Nelson knows. I'll go ask." Miss Nelson was busy grading papers when Bladsworth looked in. "I don't want to disturb her," said Bladsworth. "She probably doesn't know anyway." Down on the field, Coach Swamp was having a little talk with the team. "And don't ever think you can horse around again," she said, "because the Swamp will be watching." When Coach Armstrong returned after his rest, he was very surprised by what he found. The guys played like a real team. "How did this happen?" said Coach Armstrong. Said the guys. On Thanksgiving Day, the Tornadoes clobbered the Werewolf 77-3. It was a great day for the Horace B. Smedley School. Mr. Bladsworth treated the whole team to hot dogs at Lulu's. Miss Norton went home tired and happy. Miss Nelson. "Sometimes you just have to get tough," she told her sister Barbara. "And by the way, thanks for filling in for me." "Anytime," said Barbara. "Anytime." All right, well, our Bible story for today is story of Zacchaeus from Luke chapter 17. Also known as the man who didn't have any friends. None. There was once a man who didn't have any friends. None. Do you have any friends? Well, of course you do, but not Zacchaeus. Poor Zacchaeus didn't have any. You're probably wondering why. Was it because he was so short? That's not a reason not to like someone. Was it because he had a name that was hard to say? No, neither is that. Well, even though he was short and did have a funny name, that wasn't it. No, people didn't like Zacchaeus because he stole their money. Zacchaeus collected taxes. Taxes are what people had to pay the king. But Zacchaeus took more than he was supposed to and kept the extra money for himself and made himself rich. Everyone knew what he was up to, and it made them cross and grumpy. They didn't like Zacchaeus one bit. So they made sure that he knew it by doing things like avoiding him and walking on the opposite side of the street and whispering things like, "There's that nobody that thinks he's a somebody," loud enough that everyone could hear. Anyways, one day a huge crowd gathered by the road. Jesus was coming to their town, and everyone wanted to see him. Zacchaeus wanted to see Jesus too, but everyone was too tall. He tried jumping up and down, but that didn't work. He couldn't see a thing. Luckily, Zacchaeus had a good idea. "I'll climb that sycamore tree," he said. So he did. He was surprisingly good at climbing trees for a man who was unusually short that he had to take a flying leap just to get into his chair in the morning. From the tree, Zacchaeus had the perfect view all the way down the road. Another minute, and suddenly, Jesus was at the tree. He stopped and looked up. Zacchaeus saw Jesus, and Jesus saw Zacchaeus. "Zacchaeus," Jesus said, "I'd like to come over to your house." Zacchaeus almost fell out of the tree. Come over to his house? No one ever wanted to come anywhere near his house, let alone inside it. The people saw this, and needless to say, it made them even crosser and grumpier than usual. They mumbled and muttered and mumbled. "Why is Jesus being kind to that big sinner? Doesn't Jesus know anything about him?" Zacchaeus scrambled down and took Jesus to his house. He was in a big hurry because he didn't want Jesus to change his mind. Perhaps Jesus had heard about him. Perhaps Jesus didn't know how he had been stealing and how no one liked him and how he didn't have any friends. But Jesus knew. He knew all about Zacchaeus and stealing and everything, and he still loved him. Zacchaeus was ashamed. "Lord," he said, turning pale, "what I've done is wrong, but now I want to do the right thing. I will give the money back to everyone, 4 times what I stole." And that's what he did. Jesus smiled. "My friend," he said, "today God has rescued you." Jesus loved Zacchaeus when nobody else did. He was Zacchaeus' friend even when no one else was, because Jesus was showing people what God's love was like. It was wonderful. It is never stopping, never giving up, unbreaking, always and forever love. The end. Now, since I'm trying this new program tonight, I hope everything went through, and I wasn't able to see any comments if you left them at the bottom of the screen, but I will be sure to check them later. Be sure to tune in next week. Hopefully I'll have all these things figured out and everything will have gone through okay, because next week is Between the Lorax and If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. Vote in the comments below. Your vote counts. It really does. And we will see you next Tuesday at 7:30. Bye.